Mother Knows Death, starring Nicole and Jemmy and Maria QK.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mother Knows Death. On today's episode, we're going to talk about broadcaster Piers Morgan, who recently had an injury, and a complaint his wife has that many people who are caregivers can probably relate to. Reality star and singer Ray J said he has months to live due to heart failure, so we'll talk about what's going on with him. A really freak accident and what appears to be a series of unfortunate events that led to a young woman freezing to death outside. Then we have a really unusual true crime case involving a Florida Airbnb host who is accused of walking around a resort naked and engaging in a sex act with a vacuum cleaner. We'll finish the episode talking about complications from designer vaginal surgery. All that and more on today's episode.
All right, Piers Morgan, who is an English broadcaster and not the homeless lady from Home Alone 2, as he wants everyone to know. He was at a meeting and apparently he missed a step, causing him to fall on the floor, and as a result, he fractured his femur and needed hip surgery. So now his wife has written this article about the incident and is complaining about being his caregiver.
Yeah, she says that she agreed to sickness and health, but it's taking a toll on her. Apparently, he's just really annoying and just like having to just take care of a person that can't walk is taking a toll on her. And it is, I mean, it's cool that she comes out and says this because I think a lot of people, she even did say in the article, like she wanted to be the ultimate wife, like Jennifer Connelly in A Beautiful Mind. And that's like, she tried really, really hard and wasn't having those similar feelings. And obviously, like, that's a movie and this is real life. So you have to like kind of respect that she is putting it out there like that it's very hard to do. But at the same time, I'm like, you're a multi-millionaire probably, right? So you have a lot at your fingertips. Like, you don't have to worry about still going to work to take care of him, and you could probably hire someone to cook your food and things like that. So it's not equivalent to what average people go through that have to take care of some, like be a caretaker to a sick person.
I mean, I took away a couple things here. Like, I think that I want to preface with caregiving is very hard on anybody, no matter what personality type, no matter what level of patience. It's a very hard job, and I don't think caregivers are seen the way they should be for the hard work it is. But with that said, I think that a lot of people get married, and then when they face a hardship like this, all they do is complain about it. And it's like, yes, in sickness and health, but also it's like, that's part of the deal. So, like, what did you expect?
Yeah, I want to say that to her, like, newsflash, it's going to get a lot worse for you guys. Like, you're getting old.
Yeah, because I think of people that I know in my life that are caregivers, and it's just like, they work very hard. It consumes your whole life and everything. But then you could very easily cross that line of just being like, well, why are you even with this person if you didn't expect to grow old together and have to take care of them? Because now it just seems like your entire life is an inconvenience, when it's like, that should be part of the deal of growing old with somebody. And I feel like, you know, if you and Gabe, for example, are really old and one of you is sick, God forbid, or just like in bad condition as an old person, and one of you is venting to me about it, like, I'm not going to be like, wow, they're such an asshole for venting about it. I know it's very hard, but there is a level where you're like, do you even love this person? Because this is just like part of marriage.
Well, I would argue a broken hip is like not that big of a deal.
It's not.
In comparison to, like, I had a friend that was taking care of a husband that had ALS and like couldn't breathe.
Exactly.
And was wheelchair bound. I had another friend that was taking care of her now dead husband who had cancer. So when you think about looking at someone that you love and having to do things like that, but then on top of it, them actually be like having a serious health condition and dying, that's like something to really complain about. But like, yes, he broke his hip, but like his mind is totally fine. It's a minor inconvenience. He's supposed to get better. You know, it's just like two different things to complain about. And like I said, there's I mean, my one friend that was taking care of her husband that had ALS, like she still had to go to work and like have someone come over and babysit him while she went to work, and like a nurse and this and that. Like that's where you start being like, okay, this is hard, and these people deserve to vent. So I don't know. I mean, the thing is that people go through this all the time and nobody writes an article about them because it's not like a famous person's wife.
Well, that's the thing. Like I feel like she wrote this article in part to vent and maybe a little bit in jest, right? But like I am just taking it, maybe it's my problem and millennials' problem and everything, but I'm just like, this is kind of rude to write something like this, and you have every right to do it. And I don't give a shit about him, but I'm just like, it's kind of emasculating that like right now your husband's like being this
pain in
total
the
little
ass.
bitch about his surgery.
Well, listen, every man is a bitch. Like,
no, totally,
and
absolutely.
and trust me, like I've said this before when Gabe, I was just making fun of Gabe for being sick. Like, it's just I had Gabe with the flu at some point, and then like the kids, and it's just like the husband's always. It's a joke that every woman has. Like the guy is difficult to deal with. Men getting sick. There's memes all over the place that are like women that have the flu that are cooking dinner and doing this and that, and then the man's like in the bed like shivering when he's got a cough. Like,
No, totally. But I was like, on a not so serious level, like putting myself in the position, right? Like, I just had surgery less than a year ago. There were a couple days after my surgery where you and Ricky had to like literally help me get off the toilet and like help me get off the couch. And like, it probably was very annoying for both of you, but I needed you to do some things. And I'm thinking if like you go in the grocery room and then you're writing an article venting about how annoying I'm being because I can't pee by myself. Like that's where I'm kind of coming at. And I just am like, okay, like I don't really care about his feelings necessarily, but he is going through a hard time. He had surgery and all this stuff, and you're just here airing out all your dirty laundry in your house. I don't know. I just thought it was a weird move, but whatever. All right, Ray J posted on social media last week claiming that his heart is only beating at 25% and he has months to live.
so he's saying that his doctor told him he has months to live and he's going to die in 2027. And like he might very well, but I think that there's other things that could be done with this guy before he just calls it quits right now. He's very young, right? 45, he's my age.
Yeah, well, first he said if he stayed focused and on the right path, that everything would be all right. And then he posted a follow up saying, no, never mind, my health's not okay. I only have months to live.
So when your heart's beating at 25%, there's something called ejection fraction, which is the percentage of blood from the left ventricle pumps out with each beat. So normally you want to be around 55 to 70%. So if it's anything less than that, it starts becoming like, okay, from we got to watch this to, okay, you're at a serious risk of heart failure. So if you get like, I know that he said that he got medications and all these things. Like if you get treatment and you stop whatever's causing the heart failure, which in his case, it said he was drinking and doing drugs and Adderall. Like if you cut out all that stuff, you could potentially see your heart function getting better. But if it doesn't get better, then there's things like you could get pacemakers or ventricular devices. And at the bottom of the line, like if it really fails, you can be a candidate for a heart transplant. So he's like, I think he's being dramatic to get attention from Kim Kardashian or something. I feel like it's not just like, well, you're fucked. That's it. There's other stuff that could be done to help him.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of all over the place because I guess he was hospitalized for pneumonia earlier this month.
Unless he just decided that he's not quitting whatever he's been doing. I don't know.
And then he said the right side of his heart is black. Like, is he saying
No,
that
it's
it's
not.
deteriorating from all his substance abuse over the years? I don't know. And then I wanted to bring up that in November, it says he was arrested after allegedly pointing a gun at his ex-wife, and he was charged for making a criminal threat. And then they also pointed out he's in a legal dispute with the Kardashians related to a settlement agreement surrounding the sex tape that is decades old. What is going on with him?
He's kind of high drama, I think.
I also didn't know, I just learned in this article that his sister is Brandy, the singer, and she's been paying all his hospital bills.
I didn't know that either, actually.
Yeah, because he was like, I want to thank my sister for paying all my hospital bills. And I was like, well, who is your sister? Because, like, don't you have money? And then I looked it up and it's Brandy, which is
Is he even
insane.
a big deal? Like, the only reason anybody even knows who he is because of that whole thing, isn't it?
I literally only know of him because of the sex tape, and I forgot he even existed. And then he resurfaced on the Kardashians a couple years ago because Kanye allegedly went to his house and took the hard drive that had the remaining copy of the sex tape on it,
Okay.
which was totally fabricated, it seemed, but whatever.
Why? What does it matter? It's like on the internet.
Who cares? Like, when I watched the documentary about Pamela Anderson, for example, like, I understand the cultural impact of why that was such a problem for her, especially because, like, somebody took personal videos of her and her husband making love and turned them into this salacious porn, right? That was a complete violation of her privacy, and then everybody was acting like she was a slut about it, right? And it's like, no, like, it was videos of her and her husband being intimate together that somebody took and
But where
made
did
it into
it?
something
How did they
else.
have access to the videos?
Because they had them in a safe at their house, and the contractor that was working on their house stole the safe out of their house.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It just
Regardless, I'm saying, like,
who does that?
who
Who does that?
in two extremely hot people in the 90s do that? That's what. No, but, like, in 2026, if you have a sex tape or you're on OnlyFans, it's really not a big deal. In the 90s, it was a really big deal, and I understand why Pamela Anderson is traumatized by that. But, like, in today's day and age, Kim Kardashian launched her fame off this sex tape. Who cares about its existence? Like,
Yeah, well, she cares because she's not like, regardless of how successful and all the stuff she's done, nobody takes her seriously because that was the root of it. Like,
but, like,
so
joke's on everybody else. You're a billionaire. Why do you care what everybody else thinks? It's so
well,
stupid.
because I mean, I could see why she cares what she thinks. The money isn't just everything. Like, think about this. Like, Catherine O'Hara just died, and she's well respected, and because she's smart and she's funny, and she built her whole brand on something that is a positive about her. She
Um,
didn't. She actually, like, Catherine O'Hara was always like a lot of the women, especially on Saturday Night Live too, that never they cared about being funny before they cared about being pretty.
yeah.
Like, it's just admirable, and she's a well-respected person. And when someone talks about Kim Kardashian, like, yeah, I wouldn't say that she didn't do amazing things with the business and between her whole family, whatever they're doing, but, like, nobody's saying things like that. They're all just kind of like, yeah, the only reason she's got anything is cuz of that. You know,
I for-
and like, that doesn't feel good for her. It doesn't matter that she's a millionaire. Like, it just doesn't make her feel good. I know that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, something I forgot to mention with Catherine O'Hara earlier this week, too, is, of course, I started crying about it. She was like, the only thing she wanted to be remembered for was being a good mom to her two kids. And I'm like, this lady who's arguably been one of the most iconic actresses of our time is just like, forget everything I did. I just want to be remembered
Yeah.
as being a good mom, which is super cool.
Yeah.
All right. This 32-year-old woman was found dead of hypothermia in the front yard of her home, and there's two theories as to what happened. So first, she took an Uber to the wrong address, left her phone in the car, and couldn't contact anyone to pick her up, so she walked home. And then the second theory is she took an Uber to the right address but left her keys in the car and couldn't get inside.
It's really terrible, actually.
Yeah.
It's like a series of just, I mean, was she leaving like a bar or something, or just like they
There's
didn't
real-
say?
There's really not much information about this case, and even when you look it up on news outlets, this thing about the rideshare is not necessarily coming up, so I guess it's important to say that this is speculation via social media as to what happened or what family members have released. But this is really scary because I feel like this could easily happen to anybody, and it's like the weather was so bad down there that I just think everybody was unprepared.
Yeah, and if you get dropped off at a place, especially because I guess I've had that happen a couple times, not with Uber, but like, I remember recently I ordered something from Old Navy from the kids, and I haven't ordered something for a while, but I was like, let me get these leggings. and they never came, and it said they were delivered, and it was like some address I lived at like 15 years ago. And like I guess it just was stored in there, and I just hit submit and didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the same thing could happen when you have like an Uber, you have addresses stored for DoorDash or for anything like that. To think like you might order it and not even really realize that you didn't change it or you didn't update it, especially if you're leaving the bar and you might be like drunk or something and you're not really like 100%. They don't wait to make sure you get in the door. That's right.
No, but you also don't always want them seeing like when I lived
Yeah,
in
I
the
know.
city, I would put an address a couple houses down and then get out, and then walk because I'm like, I don't want you to see the exact house
Yeah.
I'm going into.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they don't. So, I mean, and then you get dropped off in an area if like in my neighborhood, you could just knock on a neighbor's door and just say, "Hi, I don't have my phone. Could you use it?" But if it was later, people were sleeping, whatever, like you're outside and you don't have anything to do. It's just terrible to think about that, like freezing to death.
No, 100%. She's like found around noon the following day in her front yard, steps from her front door. It's horrible.
We were in the city on Sunday night for our gross room dinner, which was awesome, by the way. And we were driving home and there was a guy outside like sleeping under blankets, and I was just like, is that a person under there right now? It was 20 degrees. It was so freaking cold out. And I just feel terrible for anyone that's outside in this weather. That it's just so bad.
No, it's
And
horrible.
of course, I mean, they're having hypothermia deaths all over the country because of it.
This episode is brought to you by The Gross Room.
So this week's high profile or celebrity death dissection this week was on Catherine O'Hara. So don't forget to check out that. And if you don't care about Catherine O'Hara, which I don't know why you wouldn't, because she's awesome. And she also has a really unique health condition. We have over 100 other celebrities and high profile death dissections as well. So I'm sure you could find somebody that you really like in there. Every Friday, so tomorrow we're going to do our YouTube live, which is exclusive for Gross Room members. And it's a combination of an episode of Mother Knows Death and just pure, like, I don't even know what, crazy. We talk about news stories that are breaking, obviously, but we also talk about different conspiracy theories. And then we just talk about other stuff too that has nothing to do with this show. Because we talk about so much of the news that relates to this, to death and disease and everything, but there's other stuff that happens that needs to get talked about too. Like Ariana Grande having 6 fingers in her Vogue photo shoot and things like that. So, yeah, check that out. You guys will really like that.
Head over to thegrossroom.com now to sign up.
Okay. What's next? Oh, this Airbnb guy.
All right, so just outside of Disney World, a man was arrested for walking around nude and performing lewd acts with a vacuum.
So I guess, like, you could use something called a penis pump to make an erection stronger, especially if you don't want to take medication or anything. And a lot of people don't have one of those medically approved devices that do it the right way. So I guess that's why he was doing it. I suppose you could get some sexual satisfaction out of it, but really, like, I think a guy would do it to get like a really good erection.
Well, I guess he had been doing this for a while because there is complaints filed with a local homeowners association about a month before he was seen doing this, and other people had footage of him doing this.
It's just so bizarre. Like, why is he trying to do, like, is he carrying around a cordless vac with him?
Yeah, like, was it a dustbuster?
I don't know. Like, could you imagine? Well, I guess, do they have a tubing that would fit around the penis? I don't know.
I need more information on said vacuum, right? Like, was it an industrial vacuum? Was it a regular vacuum cleaner? Was it a dustbuster? I'm really confused. Like, did nobody stop him when they saw him doing this? Because other people are saying they had footage of him.
What would you do? You know what's funny, actually? I was on, I don't know, whatever social media I was on last night, and I saw this video of someone sitting in the waiting room of a bank. And you know how, like, the banks have like their own offices,
Yeah.
and the windows were like not tinted but like frosted glass,
Yeah.
and there was people like this. It looked like a woman was like jerking off a guy, and then he like bent her over and was having sex with her, and this person's like sitting in the waiting room recording it, so you could barely see it but you could still see it because it's like frosted glass, and it was like waiting at the bank, be like, and it's just like when you see something like that happening, are you just like, am I really witnessing this? Am I really seeing this? Like, just a guy like, like waxing his carrot with a freaking a vacuum. It's just like so gross. I just don't know what I would do. I would be like, am I really witnessing this right now?
And like he owned a couple Airbnbs, so like is he doing this in the rental property? I really wouldn't be comfortable with this, knowing that the person did this.
Yeah,
And
'cause
it
then
said he was
he's like a
married.
secret camera guy.
Like, where's his wife?
Yeah,
Does she know?
I don't know.
I don't know. All right, let's talk about designer vaginas.
All right, so this is a good article actually, because there's a designer vagina would be like a woman. It's really should be vulva. Like a woman's not happy with the way that her labia looks, so she decides to get surgery done. And of course, it's like all over social media, and women have like this whole other set of insecurities because of the increase of like nakedness and porn and everything like that. So this woman is now 22 years old, but she's saying at the time when she was 14, that's when she really started becoming insecure about it and wanted to get it done. And a lot of women get it done too, because having like really large labia can cause problems, like when you're riding a bike or if you're having sex. Like imagine if you have all that extra skin hanging out, like a penis could like tear on it and stuff. So this woman went to get the surgery, and she went to get it because she wanted to not only feel better, but she wanted it to look better too, and just was assured that this was going to boost her confidence in the bedroom and everything like that. And now she's saying she's having all these complications from it, and she's only 22, which is like pain during sex. It's dry all the time. Like all of these things that sound torturous, because any kind of thing going on down there is just like uncomfortable as hell. You're sitting, just you have to sit on it all day. So if it's not comfortable, and then, looking into it, like one of the biggest complications is that too much tissue is taken off and causes complications like that could really be devastating on a woman's life. And it's like, how do you fix that?
Well, they're saying they discussed reconstructive surgery, which would be a procedure that's the same techniques used for women who have suffered from female genital mutilation. Like,
Well,
this
I mean,
sounds
that's
horrible all around.
that's essentially what it is. It's just in a controlled environment, but like,
And did they cover those costs because they botched it?
well, I don't know, because you sign all these release forms like there's going to be complications and this and that, and some stuff is like unforeseen, and it's the same thing with any surgery. Like you could get a really good surgery or you could not. And if you have complications like infections and things like that after having the surgery done, it could only increase the risk of having like a long-term problem with it.
I hate these stories when it's like people are just like trying to do something to have a better quality of life. This reminds me of like getting LASIK surgery, right? Like you're inconvenienced by your eyesight being bad, so you're trying to get this thing that everybody talks really positively about, and then you end up being blind the rest of your life.
Yeah, it sucks 'cause it's like one of those, it's a very low risk procedure, and I'm sure that there's women that are listening to us right now that got it and they think it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm glad that people are speaking out about it, because I think that people just go into it to get it done and think that it's no big deal, and you can have complications. And like imagine that's one of the fears with plastic surgery in general, that because there are so many people that do have complications, and just imagine like looking at your face, for example, and being like, I should have never touched that. It would have looked better just being old instead of weird looking. Or this, I mean, she's 22 years old. She's going to have to get the surgery done. She's so young. And,
Yeah.
and like, especially if it's uncomfortable.
But
And,
yeah,
and
she can't be living the rest of her life like
yeah.
this.
And with something important like sex, like you need to work down there and be comfortable just sitting. So it is really awful.
All right, guys, we have some Valentine's Day merch on our shop, thedormattershop.com, or you could get the link in the description of this episode. And we are going to be at City Vineyard in New York City in only a week and a half, 2 weeks?
Yeah, please come. It'll be so awesome. And some of our friends will be there.
Yeah, we're going to have a really good time. And their food's really good there. So you definitely want to, have a nice little dinner with yourself and watch us talk about these ridiculous stories in person. So please head over to Apple or Spotify and leave us a review, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and submit your stories to stories@motherknowsdeath.com.
Have a good weekend, guys. Thank you for listening to Mother Knows Death. As a reminder, my training is as a pathologist assistant. I have a master's level education and specialize in anatomy and pathology education. I am not a doctor and I have not diagnosed or treated anyone, dead or alive, without the assistance of a licensed medical doctor. This show, my website, and social media accounts are designed to educate and inform people based on my experience working in pathology so they can make healthier decisions regarding their life and well-being. Always remember that science is changing every day, and the opinions expressed in this episode are based on my knowledge of those subjects at the time of publication. If you are having a medical problem, have a medical question, or are having a medical emergency, please contact your physician or visit an urgent care center, emergency room, or hospital. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Mother Knows Death on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get podcasts. Thanks.